Who are the Jesuits? When I started my YouTube channel, I had no interest in Jesuits. Many viewers came to my channel with a deep hatred for the Jesuits, which I didn't understand. And so I continued to make videos without developing any interest in Jesuits. Over the years, I've been hammered by Jesuit haters, and the sources of this deep-seated hatred were more and more often those who did not appear to be insane. They were saying things subtly but clearly, and the impression that I received was that the Jesuits were a group to study. I had the following questions. Were the Jesuits responsible for wars around the globe? Were they chameleons blending in as infiltrators with one goal in mind, to start a war? Were Jesuits willing to murder innocent people in order to achieve their objectives? What were the objectives of the Jesuits? Did Jesuits acquire vast wealth? These were the main 5 accusations that others were speaking of. Recently I found a document which opened my eyes, and so I want to read it to you, so you can answer any questions you have about Jesuits, or anyone who is suspected of starting wars, so that both sides in the conflict can be weakened by those who supply war materials and get filthy rich. Let's begin, shall we? I'm on a webpage called BibleBelievers.org.au. I will put the URL in the video description for you. The Jesuits are a military religious order of the Roman Catholic Church. Papal Keys. This is a quote. When a Jesuit of the minor rank is to be elevated to command, he is conducted into the chapel of the convent of the order where there are only 3 others present. The principal or superior standing in front of the altar, on either side stands a monk, one of whom holds a banner of yellow and white, which are the papal colors, and the other a black banner and a dagger, and red cross above a skull and crossbones, with the word INRI, INRI, and below them the words Iustum, Necar, Regis, Impius. The meaning of which is, it is just to exterminate or annihilate impious or heretical kings, governments, or rulers. Upon the floor is a red cross at which the postulant, or candidate, kneels. The superior hands him a small black crucifix, which he takes in his left hand and presses to his heart, and the superior at the same time presents to him a dagger, which he grasps by the blade and holds the point against his heart, the superior still holding it by the hilt, and thus addresses the postulant. End of quote. The superior says, quote, "My son, heretofore you have been taught to act the dissembler among Roman Catholics, to be a Roman Catholic, and a spy even among your own brethren, to believe no man, to trust no man. Among the reformers, to be a reformer. Among the Huguenots, to be a Huguenot. Among the Calvinists, to be a Calvinist. Among other Protestants, generally to be a Protestant, and obtaining their confidence, to seek even to preach from their pulpits, and to denounce with all the vehemence in your nature our holy religion and the Pope, and even to descend so low as to become a Jew among Jews, that you might be enabled to gather together all information for the benefit of your order as a faithful soldier of the Pope." Unquote. It sounds like a sick medieval mindset, a compass that doesn't know where north is. Sickness in religion breeding more sickness by brainwashing others to this mentality. Now the good part. The next paragraph is a quote. "You have been taught to insidiously plant the seeds of jealousy and hatred between communities, provinces, states that were at peace, and incite them to deeds of blood, involving them in war with each other, and to create revolutions and civil wars in countries that were independent and prosperous, cultivating the arts and the sciences and enjoying the blessings to take sides with the combatants, and to act secretly with your brother Jesuit, who might be engaged on the other side, but openly opposed to that which you might be connected, only that the Church might be the gainer in the end, in the conditions fixed in the treaties for peace, and that the end justifies the means." Unquote. Now, we've had that argument for a long time, that the end somehow justifies the means. And we have decided that the end does not justify the means, that the means are the way to live. This idea of a group going around causing wars so that the Church can benefit reminds me of the Nostradamus prediction that we're going to see the last pope in our lifetime. And I thought about it, what could be so devastating to the Catholic Church that it comes to an end? And this document says, the truth. If people knew the truth about the Jesuits, the Catholic Church would fold. Who would belong to such an organization? This is like joining the war criminals. People who serve in government serve the war criminals, unless they are openly speaking out against the war criminals and the crimes that have been committed. We have a few in Congress like that, but the vast majority are not identifying the war criminals and asking for justice. Innocent people were murdered, and the war criminals got away with it. Every one of us must understand the truth and must do the right thing. Otherwise, your life doesn't matter. Everyone has a responsibility in changing the world. That's why you're here. If you see a piece of paper in the parking lot and you don't pick it up and carry it over to the trash, you're not a good citizen. If you see propaganda and you don't speak out and identify it as propaganda so that those who don't recognize it can become aware, then you're not doing everything you can do to make the world a better place. Many times I've recommended that everybody get an article and read it. Get an article that you believe in and read it to others. And put your own 2 cents worth in there, because that's the interesting part. We get the news, but we don't get anything personal from the newscaster. He's paid to read lines, and he's not allowed to say anything other than what is on the page. If he's allowed to speak out, he has a very strict guidelines. He's not supposed to say anything important. It has to be all small talk, joking about nonsense, because the purpose of the newscast is to distract the people, to give them a fake story, help create a fake reality, and keep them all stupefied. And so what each of us must do is be the alternative news, and do what the newscasters that are programmed don't do. Speak out. Now, the more we get into this Jesuit document, the angrier I become, because I can see that it is a conspiracy to commit crimes against humanity. And it's going to get much worse because I read it in advance. Next paragraph, quote, "You have been taught your duty as a spy to gather all statistics, facts, and information in your power from every source, to ingratiate yourself into the confidence of the family circle of Protestants and heretics of every class and character, as well as that of the merchant, the banker, the lawyer, among the schools and universities, in parliaments and legislatures, and the judiciaries, and councils of state, and to be all things to all men for the Pope's sake, whose servants we are unto death." Well, I hope they die soon, because I don't like the sound of this. Next paragraph. "You have received all your instructions heretofore as a novice, a neophyte, and have served as coadjutor, confessor, and priest, but you have not yet been invested with all that is necessary to command the army of Loyola in the service of the Pope. You must serve the proper time as the instrument and executioner, as directed by your superiors, for none can command here who has not consecrated his labors with the blood of the heretic. For without the shedding of blood no man can be saved. Therefore, to fit yourself for your work and make your own salvation sure, you will, in addition to your former oath of obedience to your order and allegiance to the Pope, repeat after me. says the following material contained in Congressional Record, House Bill 1523, contested election case of Eugene C. Bonnewell against Thomas S. Butler, February 15, 1913, pages 3215 and 16. The oath appears in its entirety in the book The Suppressed Truth About the Assassination of Abraham Lincoln by Burke McCarty, pages 14 to 16. I will now read the extreme oath of the Jesuits. I state your name, now in the presence of Almighty God, the Blessed Virgin Mary, the Blessed Michael the Archangel, and the Blessed Saint John the Baptist, the holy apostles, Saint Peter and Saint Paul, and all the saints and sacred hosts of heaven, and to you, my ghostly father, the Superior General of the Society of Jesus, founded by Saint Ignatius Loyola in the pontificate of Paul III, and continued to the present, do by the womb of the Virgin, the matrix of God, and the rod of Jesus Christ declare and swear that His Holiness the Pope is Christ's vice-regent, and is the true and only head of the Catholic or Universal Church throughout the earth, and that by virtue of the keys of binding and loosing given to His Holiness by my Saviour Jesus Christ, He hath power to depose heretical kings, princes, states, commonwealths, and governments, all being illegal without His sacred confirmation, and that they may safely be destroyed." Unquote. So here they're authorizing a priest to go out and kill and destroy for Jesus. And this is why I say that religious people are mentally ill. Their behavior is psychotic. I thought religion was about worshiping God, and if it was, I wouldn't have a problem with it. Everybody can worship in their own way. We don't have to fight with each other because my God is better than your God, and that's what we have here. The only commonwealth or government that is legitimate is one that belongs to this order of murderers and property destroyers and conspirators. Next paragraph. Therefore, to the utmost of my power, I shall and will defend this doctrine of His Holiness's right and custom against all usurpers of the heretical or Protestant authority whatever, especially the Lutheran of Germany, Holland, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and the now pretended authority, and churches of England and Scotland, and branches of the same now established in Ireland, and on the continent of America and elsewhere, and all adherents in regard that they may be usurped and heretical, opposing the sacred Mother Church of Rome. So if you vary the slightest from the Catholic Church of Rome, you are not legal and you deserve to be killed. I'll finish the last sentence. I do now renounce and disown any allegiance as due to any heretical king, prince, or state named Protestants or liberals, or obedience to any of the laws, magistrates, or officers. Next paragraph, quote, I do further declare that I will help, assist, and advise all or any of His Holiness's agents in any place wherever I shall be, in Switzerland, Germany, Holland, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, England, Ireland, or America, or in any other kingdom or territory I shall come to, and do my uttermost to extirpate the heretical Protestants or liberals' doctrines, and to destroy all their pretended powers, legal or otherwise. Unquote. Next paragraph, quote, I do further promise and declare that notwithstanding I am dispensed with to assume my religion heretical for the propaganda of the Mother Church's interest, to keep secret and private all her agents' counsels from time to time, as they may entrust me, and not divulge directly or indirectly by word, writing, or circumstance whatever, but to execute all that shall be proposed, given in charge, or discovered unto me by you, my ghostly father, or any of this sacred covenant. Well, they think they have Jesus on their side, and that's dangerous. And a lot of religious people think that Jesus wants them to go out and kill people. And here's a document that proves that the Jesuits have this idea, and I think all the others have it too. How many people have died because of religious beliefs? Each side thinking that they're justified in murdering the other. This changing has to stop. We cannot continue to think like this. This is cancer. Religious people think that my channel is the place where they should drop their ordinance of scriptures in order to persuade others to go for the insanity that they went for. I don't like religious people. I don't want them on my channel, and I don't want the scriptures. When someone leaves scriptures, I block them. This is not a church. Religious people should find a church where other people are equally insane. Go there, stay there, don't ever come out of there. And stay the hell away from my channel. I don't want this kind of poison contaminating my channel. Nobody appointed you disseminator of the religious dogma, especially on my channel. Other people don't like it either, especially if they have a different faith and you go around thinking that your faith is the only right faith and everyone else should die. This is the mind of a sociopath. And I chose to read this document because it tells us who the Jesuits are, it tells us what their agenda is, and it tells us the means by which they will try to achieve their agenda. It is unhealthy, and everyone should know the truth about the Jesuits and any other religious order that goes around advocating violence, infiltration, spying, and undermining other peaceful civilizations. We are never going to be able to join the galactic community if this is the mindset, because these Jesuits will be going to other planets and undermining them, destabilizing their societies, causing wars. We don't need this. I have read that aliens are quarantining the earth because we have this mentality like you're hearing here in this document. I will try to read the next paragraph. Quote, I do further promise and declare that I will have no opinion or will of my own, or any mental reservation whatever, even as a corpse or cadaver, parende ac cadaver, but will unhesitatingly obey each and every command that I may receive from my superiors in the militia of the Pope and of Jesus Christ. Unquote. So this mindless person is going to give up all of his free will, all of his better judgment, and just follow insane orders. This is a sickness, and it's too bad that the Jesuits have become so wealthy by causing wars and funding both sides. When a group of people conspires to create trouble like this, they should be banned everywhere on Earth. They should be quarantined on another planet. I think we have the capabilities now to fly them there. Just let them fend for themselves. Next paragraph talks about the austerity that they are willing to endure. Quote, that I may go to any part of the world whithersoever I may be sent. To the frozen regions of the north, to the burning sands of the desert of Africa, or the jungles of India, to the centers of civilization of Europe, or to the wild haunts of the barbarous savages of America, without murmuring or repining, and will be submissive in all things whatsoever communicated to me. Unquote. Now they're doing all this suffering for Jesus, and they think that Jesus wants them to go out and kill, kill, kill. Like this is a football game or something. Go out there and murder them. We won. They got slaughtered. No, it isn't a football game. It's a world in which we're all trying to get along, and this group is sociopathic. Now listen how sick they are in this next paragraph. I furthermore promise and declare that I will, when opportunity, there's a word missing there, that I will, when opportunity is present, make and wage relentless war, secretly or openly, against all heretics, Protestants, and liberals, as I am directed to do, to extirpate and exterminate them from the face of the whole earth, and that I will spare neither age, sex, or condition, and that I will hang, waste, boil, flay, strangle, and bury alive these infamous heretics, rip up the stomachs and the wombs of their women, and crush their infants' heads against the wall, in order to annihilate forever their execrable race. That when the same cannot be done openly, I will secretly use the poison cup, the strangulating cord, the steel of the poignard, or the leaden bullet, regardless of the horror, rank, dignity, or authority of the person or persons, whatever may be their condition in life, either public or private, as I at any time may be directed so to do by any agent of the Pope or superior of the Brotherhood, of the Holy Faith, of the Society of Jesus. You know, it's really embarrassing to hear the word Jesus mentioned in the same sentence as that. Let me read this part over again. Rip up the stomachs and wombs of their women and crush their infants' heads against the walls. That kind of mentality should not be in the same sentence with the word Jesus based on what I know about Jesus. If people practiced what Jesus preached, everything would just be wonderful. The problem is, you've got some people who think like this, and they think they're right. They think God is behind them, that God is going to protect them and save them. This is insanity. When I called religious people insane, a lot of people, especially religious people, didn't understand what I meant. But this document makes it very clear how insane these people are. And in a milder way, all religions are the same. They're all doing this same thing. My God is correct and yours is wrong, and you have to die. Your children have to die. It's insanity. This is not harmony in society. This is sociopathic, psychotic, criminal, antisocial. I'm going to have to stop there because I can't take any more. I will come back to this and read more later.